You have already heard about the fight over the excessive and unsafe practice of constituting sanctuary cities. Democrats have decided to raise the ranks of liberal supporters by supporting illegals to take charge in such cities by promising them benefits such as defending them from deportation by the government. What's missing is a way to give these illegals voting rights. The most important thing is that most of these immigrants are dangerous convicts, and a big fat check and a voter ID won't make them change their habits. New York City is probably the biggest sanctuary city, and as such, it appears to be the jackpot for criminals. Under the leadership of President Trump, ICE is doing the job. Officials in New York, they arrested 42 illegals who were released from prison, so we could say that the New York streets are a little bit safer now. ICE enforcement and removal operations officers began the operation on November 13 and concluded it shortly before Thanksgiving. In total, officers arrested 55 illegal aliens. 42 of those arrested had been in New York law enforcement custody and were released despite ICE having placed immigration detainers on the aliens, according to information obtained by Breitbart, Texas from ICE officials. This is one of the offenses the leaders of sanctuary cities are committing. They are ignoring immigration detainers, and are simply turning illegals loose. This is nothing less than the obstruction of federal authorities working to enforce federal laws. 42 of the 55 arrested during this operation were released from New York custody with an active detainer, which poses an increased risk to the officers and the community, Aero New York Field Office Director Thomas Decker said in a written statement. It is important for city residents to know that although the City of New York releases inmates with active ICE detainers back into their community, ICE will be diligent in its responsibility to find those who come to the United States to prey upon our communities and ultimately have them removed from the country. The New York citizens are not as responsible as their leaders are careless, and the ballot box could be a problem fixer for this. If the politicians realize that they could be thrown out of the office for these choices, they surely will change their policies. What is worrying is that many of the people in New York don't seem to mind having dangerous illegals walking around in the society. They just prefer for their leaders to cooperate with ICE in getting rid of such individuals. It looks like that hardcore liberal attitudes are as hard to fix as is dull. Featured image source H/T, American Conservative Herald.